Hello, my name is Navjeet and I work at Social Planning Toronto. Social Planning Toronto is a nonprofit community organization engaged in research, policy analysis, community development, and civic engagement aimed at improving the quality of life for all Toronto residents. As an organization that has worked substantially on the issue of non-status and migrant rights, we are pleased that the committee is beginning to take initiative to consider how the City of Toronto can work to improve access to city services for residents with precarious immigration status or non-status. SPT has worked on multiple projects highlighting the barriers that non-status immigrants face in the city, specifically around access to public education and access to community services. In 2008, we released our report entitled Right to Learn, Access to Public Education for Non-Status Immigrants. And we found that despite a clear provincial policy which states no child shall be refused enrollment into an Ontario public school regardless of their immigration status, schools were still denying children admission. During our research interviews with non-status parents and youth, they shared with us many common concerns that can be equally experienced when accessing any type of city service or a government institution. These include fear of disclosing their immigration status or immigration documentation to frontline workers, not knowing how their personal information will be stored or shared with others, safety for themselves and their family, stress, and lack of information regarding their rights under the law. For instance, 8 out of the 15 interviewees indicated that they were unaware that their children had a right to attend school in the city. We also discovered that simply having a policy in place does not ensure accessibility or constitute proper compliance without full implementation, enforcement, and staff training. In 2010, we released a report called Policy Without Practice, where we contacted all 201 Toronto Catholic District School Board schools and asked staff if a child without immigration status could be enrolled. Now, despite their own admissions policies, which are in place, only 31 out of the 201 schools said yes, 57 denied admission, and 113 said that they did not know. We were also provided with misinformation, staff that did not clearly understand what immigration status referred to, or more troubling, received comments such as, no school in Ontario will be able to accept him. In 2007 and 2010, Social Planning also released 2 editions of our Toronto Community Services Resource Guide, a directory of community programs and services that are accessible to residents lacking full and secure immigration status. We prepared these guides in collaboration with other community organizations in recognition of the fact that there were many frontline workers who were assisting residents without full status, and they were unsure of where they could safely refer them to for particular services. While many community agencies throughout Toronto are stepping up to fill this gap, the reality is that due to overstretched resources, increased caseloads, and oftentimes needing to follow strict criteria about who they're able to serve, set in place by funders, many organizations are finding it increasingly difficult to adequately provide services that this population depends on, creating an inconsistent patchwork of services throughout the city. In light of such evidence, Social Planning Toronto endorses the recommendations by the Access Without Fear Sanctuary City campaign to dismantle unnecessary barriers that are impacting the quality of life for so many residents and families living with precarious immigration status. By taking such actions, the city can demonstrate its leadership and commitment to human rights and become an example for other communities across the province and the country. As federal policy continues to make it difficult for immigrants to attain permanent status, instead investing in temporary immigration streams, newcomers will need greater time and resources to navigate an increasingly hostile system. If we are serious about ensuring that our city is accessible and inclusive for all residents, we need to end discrimination based on a person's immigration status, making denial of services based on such criteria as unacceptable as discrimination based on gender, ethnocultural background, religion, and sexual orientation.